The following is a presentation of TFNN. The Power Trading Hour with your host, David White. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648 or internationally at 727-873-7618. Now, David White.
And welcome all to another excellent edition of the Power Trading Hour. What do we have today? Well, we'll see. I think this is the warm-up for tomorrow. I didn't think we'd be very far off where we are at the moment from Friday going into today. And well, I'm just glad you're here at the appointed time, as you should be.
The following takes place between 2 p.m. and 3 p.m.
So we're about where we were on Friday, 422.31 is the last tick on the S&P cash. I didn't think we were going very far, plus or minus. We've got a few questions we'll get to, but let's get the first one done here. Let me see if I can't pop something up here so I can take a look at it. I know I've got it somewhere. Oh, it's over here. Okay. Let me move this up here so I tell you the right numbers. But I think Forex stocks, futures. Let's go to some futures here and see the overnight low. That's in gold. Yeah, S&P 500. Yeah. It's not quite as low. Well, maybe. Yeah. So, you got into it. The question I'm getting asked a bunch here today and via email is whether or not the futures test was good enough for me to say that we have a low in place, and the answer is no. Let me put it this way. My hope is that tomorrow, during the Fed meeting, that they go and push this out and test that low with lighter volume. Yesterday, we got about 15 billion shares into about 18.5 billion share previous low and didn't go down and test it. I think we're bottoming out, but that doesn't mean that they're not going to run the tables one last time tomorrow. The markets intraday and overnight are very thin. And that really I'm trying to find a really good risk-reward setup in the fact that bad news could wipe me out on either side if I don't wait for the big fat pitch down the center. And I suspect that'll happen tomorrow afternoon, or at least that's my hope. And I'll be able to reduce the risk once we've gotten down there and tested it. Again, I'm not a big fan of testing futures overnight for anything that's a mid-level, medium or long-term call, or even short, medium, long-term call. Is it good for 24 hours? Yeah. But generally you come back if it hasn't happened, especially those massive 18 billion share lows down there at 41.14. I've been asking the big questions today, like what would be the end of the Russian-Ukraine war? I'm figuring right now, I'm trying to estimate so I know my risk reward. If we got a ceasefire today, would it be worth 100 points in the S&P cash? Would it be worth 150, 200? One of the things that's interesting is just how few shorts we actually have in the market. I ran the numbers last night for the bi-monthly, that's twice a month, although that is confusing all the time to me. Why couldn't they just call it twice a month? Bi-monthly could either be people use it both twice a month and every other month. And I do digress. anyway, what would be the end of it? Why would it end? I haven't found a lot of wisdom in the press right now. It's a lot of tribalism and who shot John, and you're a traitor if you ask any question I don't like. And there's just not any kind of good analysis anywhere that I've found except one place. And this guy's theory is that when the Russians run out of money, the war will be over. And to me, that probably is the only thing that makes sense to me. Now the question is, how long before they run out of money? Everybody says that they're spending about $1 billion a day, and they had about $100 billion to start with, so they can actually run a war out for about a year. I mean, for about 100 days before they go broke. And then we were discussing in the den whether they could sell more gold to raise more cash and extend the war, whether that goes on and on and on. I'm just wondering whether or not there'll be a lot of appetite in Russia, and he may just think that getting some new or half of the Ukraine is enough, and try to lock the game down. But that's the question. He throws a nuke. We're down 500 points in the S&P overnight. Biological warfare, and that can happen by them blowing up one place or actually launching missiles with it. And so there's risk on either side, not that there's equal duplicity. So there's a handful of things that could happen. And I'm going to say that if I'm going to do anything, it's going to be with options. So I can at least define my risk going ahead. With 200 points up or down from tomorrow afternoon, and that could happen in 2 days. I think the prudent thing is to use options. Options continue to show that everybody's fairly bullish in the option market maker community. They're looking at 43.50. So could we see 125 points up that quickly? I think, we had a rumor on Friday. You did go up about 75 or 80 points on the S&P. It was a dubious rumor, and it still got 80 points. So if you're wondering where I get the 200 points for a real ceasefire, that may be a little low if we have a lot of people start shorting. But at the moment, we've got very low short sellers, which bothers me and extends my risk-reward lower. You want to see a lot of people short, because if you're wrong, they're going to be, depending on how committed they are, they're going to cover at some point and let you out if you want to get out. The problem is when you have no natural buyers to the downside, and the most shorted stock from a year ago could have had 30 or 35 days to cover. The biggest stock that I found today had 12 days to cover. There are a few, but there aren't the kind of shorts out here that make me want to go, yeah, this is a lows end. Everybody's gotten short, and is gone to the upside. So I'm going to need options, and I'm going to need the Fed and a test of the lows. We'll be back in a minute.
Are you grinding in the market, but seeing little to no return? Or are you a successful trader, simply looking to make your job a little easier? Learn to take the path of least resistance with David White's powerful trading newsletter. David White is an accomplished trader whose deep understanding of technology and the markets allows him to consistently find and share winning trades. Support and resistance define the ranges in which stocks trade. By understanding these trading ranges, David White is able to find the path of least resistance. David White's trading newsletter, The Path of Least Resistance, is delivered daily before the markets open to make every trading day an easy win. Visit TFNN.com today and subscribe to David White's Ultimate Trading Newsletter for $119 a month. And try all of our newsletters risk-free with our 30-day money-back guarantee. Take the path of least resistance at TFNN, educating investors.
What's separating you from the most successful men and women on Wall Street? That's right, information. Having all the information gives us the perspective we need to place the right trades at the right time. The TAS Profile Scanner is the premier market profile-based scanner. Powered by its acclaimed TAS proprietary algorithms, this feature-rich scanner instantly filters over 2,500 plus global financial markets, such as stocks, ETFs, commodities, futures, and Forex. This powerful suite of tools leverages instant trade filtering and strategy formulation to show you emerging trades before they happen. For a limited time, you can save $100 off your first month by using the promo code UPGRADE, and you still get a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to risk. Level the playing field with the TAS Profile Scanner, which you can find under the Services tab at TFNN.com. Sign up today.
Sharpening your skills as an investor is like getting better at playing a musical instrument. You have to practice, sure, but you also need excellent instruction from experts. At TFNN, you'll get advice and guidance from the authority in technical market analysis. And it's not just dry, tedious text either. TFNN airs live financial content streamed live on TFNN.com and TFNN's YouTube channel with Tiger TV, live every market day from 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern, for free. Each host is an experienced trader and gives their take on the market while taking calls and questions live from around the world. From the moment the market opens until the closing bell sounds, Tiger TV has 8 different shows with expert hosts to help you make the right moves with your money. Watch online at TFNN.com or on TFNN's YouTube channel and become the investor you were born to be. TFNN, educating investors.
Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-873-7618.
As we return, more big things to talk about here. Little discussion in the ETNs versus the ETFs. I don't trade the ETNs, although some people do. My risk profile does not allow me to use ETNs. I thought I had it, and I probably do. I just can't find it here. Is kind of a quote from what was it? The Johnny. I want to say Johnny Dash, but it's not Johnny. I forget it. The pirate movie, Pirates of the Caribbean. But they're talking about the rules of parlay, and one guy says it's more of a suggestion than a rule, and that's the way I've always thought of ETN versus ETFs. You've got probably 99% probability that ETF's going to be there when things hit the proverbial fan and the exhaust waste of a cow. And the ETNs, first sign of trouble, kind of like those movies that you see of 1987 where they say answer the phone, or Trading Places where it was kind of really put in as turn the machines back on. When it's going against you, the markets in most of the places are willing to, and you're sinking and you're swimming and you're sinking, they're more than willing to hand you an anvil. And that's the ETN. Heads we win, tails you lose. I'm not a big fan of them. ETFs are a little bit better off. But again, when you trade one of these, just remember, getting your cash back for ETNs is more of a suggestion than a rule. Lots of questions of whether or not we found a low in the blow-off tops of gold and crude. Again, that we're blowing off into this. Kind of easy. We did get right through the 100 level, which makes me think we're going to see a little bit more of a consolidation at these lower levels. Could you see a low? Yes. Am I going to go bet on it? The answer is no. In both crude and oil, we could see, again, some more weakness into the Fed. But I think probably in the next 24 hours, you've got a good chance of finding lows in both that are tradable. But again, it goes through my head every time I see gold take off, and that is James Grant's quote of it's important to buy gold, but more important to sell it. You get these huge moves in these things, and they do pull back. And they pull back pretty much to the breakout levels. And of course, as soon as crude goes to $130, people are out there with drills trying to go after farm animals to see whether or not there's crude in them. When there's gold in them, they're hills. But also, you know what? People that need cash, especially if you're finding that the rest of the world is against you, are you selling gold? Are you trading gold for arms? Are you doing other things? Just because it's probably long-term worth more money, in the short term, you will find lots of people willing to go to the cash register and ring that bell of sold when you have big moves. And you know what? Probably not. This move's not a lot different than what we saw in the early 2000s. It will disappoint a lot of people thinking that gold should just go through the roof. It is going to be, in my opinion, 2 steps forward and 1 step back, or maybe 3 steps forward and 2 steps back. And people, generally when Tom doesn't get a lot of phone calls on gold, is a time to start looking yet again. But I'm not surprised to see the movement in here and what we're looking at in gold. In fact, what do we have here for the last move in gold? Let's go to the dollar here. $99.13 for the dollar index, which you need to keep an eye on when trading gold. Gold futures, 1925 off of a low that looks like, 1908-ish? Something like that. Anyway, I'm looking for some consolidation here in the next 24 hours. Hopefully a retest during the Fed or around the Fed of that 1908, maybe even get to 1900. Have everybody saying gold is over and it's done with. Maybe set the low in the next 24 hours, maybe both in gold and crude. I already went over my options wish. I'd love for us to go down and test 41.14 in the S&P cash during trading hours and see much lighter volume than the 18 billion shares that we have on the CBOE consolidated volume. And anything else out here? I had a couple of emails and you can email me at path@tfnn.com. Does the S&P need 50 plus points today to give the Fed some more ammo? No. The Fed's going to raise, and it's going to raise by 0.25%, and it's going to do so for at least 4 times this year. And the question you have to ask is, what tone do they set tomorrow? Do they set a tone where they're committed to 8 or 4, and let's see what happens? And I think everybody knows what they're going to say. It's just the way that they say it. A lot of people are going to, like the old Soviet movies where there's always somebody standing next to whoever was the leader of the Soviet Union at the time, and they all thought it meant something by who was next to him and who was farther away and who got farther away the next time. Everybody's trying to read the tea leaves. I don't think it means much in the long term, but in the short term, probably through options expiration, a lot of people are going to be grasping at straws. And if he whiffs on being accommodative for any problems that we're going to have, or maybe we'll say tomorrow he says, we're going to raise, but inflation may have stifled all growth for the year. And, we're going to do one and see what happens. A lot of it's going on. You're going to get one. It's the character of tomorrow's FOMC meeting and his meeting at 2:30 Eastern time. I'm not thinking that I have any edge. I think I'll have an edge after he's done, and we look into the weekend and see how options have moved. Like I said, right now, I think they're fairly positive, but that does not mean that we cannot test the low tomorrow and go and end at 43.50 on Friday. Again, I think that's kind of what the option market makers are hinting at us today. So we shall see. 877-927-6648. Another email out here. They're talking about TAM again today, and I brought that up, I think, yesterday, as the total addressable market. And one of the things to do and run when people are doing that, let's see, when was that? I got a reply on here. So that was sometime around lunch, a bunch of people trying to bottom pick overpriced stocks, he says. But that's it. When you start hearing the word TAM, it's a lot like any discussion where they call you Hitler. The argument's over. The argument isn't any good. They've dived to the bottom of the barrel on it. And, they call you Hitler. Just assume you won the argument. Same thing with TAM. They don't have a good argument. We'll be back in a minute.
Are you having fun trading the markets but having trouble finding like-minded individuals to discuss your trading and investment ideas with? Become an apex predator in the trading markets and join the Tiger's Den Trading Room only at TFNN.com. The Tiger's Den is an exclusive trading room where successful traders from around the world come to exchange trades and ideas. Join the den and surround yourself with the sharpest minds in the trading world. Subscribers to the Tiger's Den are also the first to have their questions answered live on air and can privately chat with our TFNN hosts live during their shows. Interact with other Tigers and Tigresses as they share trading ideas, news analysis, and discuss the market action all trading day. Subscribe to the Tiger's Den risk-free with our 30-day money-back guarantee and become part of the TFNN trading community. TFNN, educating investors.
You could be making money off the stock market. And if you're already making money off the stock market, you could be making a lot more. Check out TFNN and Tiger TV and get expert investing advice to give you the power to control your financial future. Go to TFNN.com and find the newsletter for you. Whether you're into trading gold, metals, futures, currencies, or options, you'll get advice and analysis to help you seriously get ahead. TFNN also features trading services with a 30-day money-back guarantee for new subscribers, as well as TFNN's Tiger Den Trading Room, trading software, and educational webinars for all trading levels. And make sure you check out Tiger TV for free on TFNN.com or TFNN's YouTube channel for live financial content from 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern on market days. Stop watching on the sidelines while other people get rich and become the investor you were born to be. TFNN, educating investors.
TFNN is excited about our new software charting program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts allows you to scan thousands of stocks for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartley's, ABC's, butterflies, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade Charts is designed to help you when scouring the markets for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that many investors spend days, weeks, or even months searching to find. And right now, we're offering licenses available at only $79 a month. We are so confident that you're going to love this new charting software that will even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Get your copy of The Art of Timing the Trade Charts today by visiting TFNN.com.
This segment is brought to you by Thinkorswim. For more information, just click the Thinkorswim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
And welcoming back for a little tech history moment. As we look at this on this day in 1975.
And it's all just a little bit of history repeating.
The first issue of the Homebrew Computer Club's newsletter is published. Only 21 monthly issues are published through December 1977, but the newsletter is considered influential in the early culture of the personal computer industry. And of course, this brought luminaries of all veins, including the guys from Apple and soon to be the guys from Microsoft. Everybody had to go, kind of like Mecca in the early days. These guys were all wire wrapping parts that they stole out of dumpsters, which led to them actually locking up dumpsters so people couldn't steal the trash out of them. And by trash, I mean old printers and literally any kind of thing, because people would spend the money and fix them up and use them at home. I'm not exactly sure why they hated that, but they did. Anyway, the newsletter is kind of the beginning of the Homebrew Computer Club, and led to, of course, Apple PCs and the interest that Bill Gates saw there, to him licensing his version of BASIC to the Commodore 64 and Windows PCs and PDP-11s and literally just about everything, and how he got started. But on this day in 1975, the personal computer revolution, I think, is, if you had to pick a day, was the day that it got started. Other things going on in the market already. We've got Microsoft with a little bit of good news, especially if you're a gamer. So we'll take a look at those. Microsoft, to me, looks very good for Friday. It may be the one that outperforms the rest of the FANG stocks. It's up a little bit today on light volume. Still has not broken down, though, up through the downtrend in the 9-day. You kind of tried to get through it earlier in the day. I think that is, again, tomorrow afternoon. But option makers are still pointing to $300 on this. For the good news, they're releasing some new updates today that allow you, that are games that are programmed that way, to actually upload the data from your drive directly to your video card and not have to go through the CPU, which could make game times and a lot of features in gaming go much faster. It's already been available in the Xbox for a year, but probably even much larger or much faster load times if you're somebody that does a lot of high graphic work or games. It's going to be possible in the near future. So what do you get? You get a lot of upgrades from Microsoft. So watch for that. And, of course, if you haven't updated your PC in a while and you trade on it, well, there's a lot of updates that you probably need to get from last week and this week also. As always, if you're updating something, just back it up first. That way, if it doesn't work, you can go back to the previous. I always wonder how many people have computers with zero backups. My guess is about 80%. And I always said that if cars were like computers, everybody would be on the side of the road with their hoods up in the air because they never changed the oil. But I do digress. Other things going on, we brought up in the den earlier in the day, and of course you're always invited to join the den, was Apple. And we talked a little bit about Foxconn being closed the last couple of days, probably going to be closed till Monday. They assemble all of Apple's computers. You did have a nice little sign here. You are now closing back in that range. You're doing it on lighter volume. You got a nice hammer candle for yesterday, 109 million shares compared to 141 and 143. So you're getting ready, I think, for a little bit of a bounce. Options are down a little bit on Apple now. They've moved them from 165 to 162.50. They could get to 160, I think, by tomorrow. We'll have to see. But there still may be a decent bounce left in Apple if they get the word that Foxconn goes back to assembling their iPhones. Somebody in the den did bring up the fact that no iPhone for you, kind of like the soup Nazi and the iPhone Nazis, on whether or not they're going to be able to produce this kind of stuff. Other questions earlier in the day by one of my subscribers was, now that Russia is starting to take over assets of U.S. companies in its country, what should we expect? Pretty much the consensus which I haven't dug through people's books to know for sure, but most of the people are agreeing that about 2% or less of U.S. companies' income comes from a great deal of those Russian companies. So McDonald's, Wendy's, other companies, Starbucks, that they've threatened to do this and apparently are starting to do it, probably doesn't matter a whole hill of beans for these companies. Apple, of course, already said it's not doing any more business there, but they almost all these companies just rent locations, so it's not like they've got land to get taken over. Most of these places don't have huge computer installations worth billions. It's an ice cream machine and a grill to cook a hamburger on. Maybe Starbucks has a little bit more money in furniture, but not a lot to lose there. So that's kind of non-existent. But maybe this is enough to make a low in Apple for a little while. If everybody shows back up to work on Monday for Foxconn, maybe you have a lot more. Give me a call or email at path@tfnn.com. Be glad to take a look at it. Okay. Other things going on in the market. Question on GLD. As I said, I'm really hoping that we get one more kind of retest in this. You went right to support. There's two gaps. I would love to see just a very brief, short push. We may not get it. You do have at least a halfway decent, not a perfect look in the dictionary, and this is what it'll show: three-gap play down on gold. So if you don't get a lower opening tomorrow, this may be something worth taking a risk on for options on Friday. But certainly you have three nice gaps. I like to see more energy on these gaps. They're fairly low for a three-gap play. You want to see it all exhausted. The only reason that I'm not jumping in now is that I would have loved to have seen some kind of selling climax to signal that this three-gap play is over. We don't quite have that yet. But I am watching out of one eye and spying gold and seeing what it does. But I think if anything, you want to start resting up and getting ready tomorrow. I think it's probably, with options expiration, quad witching, we're probably in for some very violent markets after 2 o'clock tomorrow.
Are you in the market for buying or selling real estate in the Bay Area, including the surrounding St. Petersburg, Tampa, and Clearwater markets? Tiger Real Estate LLC is a firm that has extensive experience in the Tampa Bay area. Whether you're looking to sell your current property for maximum value, or you're in the market for a second home or investment property, Tiger Realty has the experience across all areas of real estate in the Tampa Bay area to help buyers and sellers make the most informed decisions across all price levels. From the price you should be paying per square foot in certain up-and-coming areas to the type of cash flow investment properties are capable of creating, Tiger Real Estate can help you make the best decision when it comes to all areas of the market. Before you make one of the biggest decisions of your financial future, call Tiger Real Estate LLC today at 727-329-8322 or email us at tiger@tfnn.com. That's 727-329-8322. Call us today.
The technology around us is changing every day. With so much happening, it can seem impossible to keep up with all the information. David White's investment newsletter, The Technology Insider, is designed to give you all the information you need to understand the technology that shapes today's markets and tomorrow's future. David White has made his living staying on the cutting edge of technology. His weekly newsletter will give you specific recommendations for value tech stocks, as well as entry prices, target prices, and stops to set for each trade. Dave delivers his weekly newsletters every Friday with updates throughout the week. You can get the Technology Insider at TFNN.com for only $37.50. Sign up for David's newsletter, The Technology Insider, and get an inside look at everything the technology sector has to offer. Try it risk-free today with our 30-day money-back guarantee. TFNN, educating investors.
Are China A-shares hot or not? If you trade China A-shares, now may be time to take a closer look. Trade CHAU or CHAD, Directions Daily CSI 300 China A-share Bull and Bear ETFs. China A-shares in either direction. Visit directioninvestments.com today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction shares at 866-476-7523. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV.
As we return 1923 on the gold. Crude actually holding up a little better, just down $5 now. What else do we have out here? Questions about the big bounces. Well, you certainly got your tests in on things like the semis. The problem is that the volume still is too much for me. And on the opposite side, you're going to close probably above the 9-day unless something happens here on AMD. So still think that you need to retest some of these lows. Now you can claim, although I won't, that it tested the low yesterday on lighter volume, 89 million shares, which is pretty good. I still suspect that there's some weakness out there. NVIDIA has a big dog and pony next week where it shows off a lot of stuff out there that is new and exciting to its developers. So look for that. I think it starts on Tuesday, maybe Monday. I think it started on Monday last time. A little bounce in this one. Volume's not all that exciting. The big difference is you're going to get a little close above 9 days over here. So let's take a look at the SMHs. And you got a bit of a reversal on this on lighter volume. You still have way too much volume out here. So is this always work? No. Is it probably 75% good? Yes. So you'd have to have a really abiding belief that you haven't tested the low for the last time in the SMHs. Now, does it just bounce for a couple of days into Friday and then you see a retest next week? It certainly could do that. But I don't know. I think we're starting to get through some of the worst fears in the market. If crude remains a little bit weak, maybe this is where everybody goes for a safe haven. But on a chart basis, you really wanted to see a test of 237.32 on the SMHs and on lighter volume before you think this is over. So, could we see that tomorrow? Again, I'm thinking that we could certainly in the next couple of days see a lower low out here on lighter volume and give us the kind of lows that I want, that I've seen in the past turn to gold. 877-927-6648. Question on Micron. We'll take a look at that as we start continuing on. Looking better than most of the rest. You didn't quite get down into the $65.60 low on October 12th. You got to $68 today. Certainly into that candle. Certainly going to be about the same kind of volume. So still looks to me like one of the leaders. Again, all the sector is still worried about China invading Taiwan, which would pretty much be an end of the semiconductor industry for 3 to 5 years, I would imagine. Maybe 2 to 5, something like that. Certainly for a while, enough for these things probably to go to 10% of their level. I would think that that's probably fairly close. The only real other manufacturing hub in the world to compete with it is South Korea. And, of course, they've got, if China goes into there, do they let loose the dogs of war against the South Koreans? Kind of checkmate the rest of the West? My guess is they're thinking about it. So just, if one thing falls, I hate to use the domino theory, but I have a feeling that a lot of people are going to look at that way if something does happen. So, I'd be short, and I probably wouldn't give up until everybody's out of business if that happened. 877-927-6648. Got some more emails here. Okay. Here. So what do we have now? Can you look at Workday? WDAY. We'll see. Certainly the kind of volume we want to see, 1.4 million shares compared to 3 million shares on the 8th, going back into 2.6 million shares the reversal day on the 24th. So you're probably going to get support in here. Do like the company long term, even with what's going on out here. I do like the light volume. But again, tomorrow morning, what are we going to have? We're going to have volume and probably movement until about 10:30, maybe 10:45, and then volume's just going to start falling off a cliff. We're going to have a couple hours of very thin markets and then very fast markets as the Fed comes out, makes some statements, and maybe they move one way or the other. My hope is that everybody takes it fairly bearishly. We don't end up with any volume, and we end up setting some lows in a lot of these stocks, and a nice setup for options expiration for me to buy some calls. That would be the perfect world in what I see coming forward. Okay. What else do we have out here? Question on CCJ. As I said before, you had kind of almost all these things, you had kind of a blow off top. The problem that I always wanted Kamiko to get finished with was something around 28 million shares at the high, the September 13 high. You tried first with 10 million shares, then with 15. My guess is the next time it does get up there, it is going to blow through those $28 levels. You've got kind of a nice candle today, but too much volume for me. I would like to see tomorrow again, maybe in the 24s with very light volume, and maybe that where sets it up. But you've got a lot of energy coming off that January 28th low up to the March 10th high, and that still looks good to me, but maybe just a little bit more. I know I'm greedy. I know I could miss it by being greedy, but I also know I could miss getting stopped out the same way. Okay. And what else do we have here? Nike was making some lows against a long-term gap. So we should be seeing some kind of support here. You gapped up on earnings on September 23rd in 2020 at this level. You did so with 37 million shares. So is this a place where you could plant a flag? Certainly interesting. 13 million shares or 14 million shares yesterday. Again, you've had a long move down, so you may need some consolidation. But this is just one of probably a couple hundred stocks that I think we're going to see out here at lows, testing previous lows on lighter volume over the next couple of days. Now, the opposite, the Fed comes out and just shakes a fist, tells them where you're going to put that fist, and the market decides to just give it up. The downside is significant with very, very few shorts in the market, and that includes in the VIX over the last day. We have very low short sellers. If we get started to the downside, there aren't a lot of natural buyers. That's the other. Be back in a minute.
Sharpening your skills as an investor is like getting better at playing a musical instrument. You have to practice, sure, but you also need excellent instruction from experts. At TFNN, you'll get advice and guidance from the authority in technical market analysis. And it's not just dry, tedious text either. TFNN airs live financial content streamed live on TFNN.com and TFNN's YouTube channel with Tiger TV, live every market day from 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern, for free. Each host is an experienced trader and gives their take on the market while taking calls and questions live from around the world. From the moment the market opens until the closing bell sounds, Tiger TV has 8 different shows with expert hosts to help you make the right moves with your money. Watch online at TFNN.com or on TFNN's YouTube channel and become the investor you were born to be. TFNN, educating investors.
You might think that if you want to be successful at trading in the stock market, you're going to need a crystal ball. After all, it's impossible to predict the future, right? Like any endeavor in life, before you decide it's impossible, get some advice from the experts. You might find that it's not so impossible after all. For daily market overviews that give you direction on the key indices, selective stocks, and commodities, subscribe to the Opening Call newsletter at TFNN.com. The Opening Call newsletter is written by Basil Chapman, creator of the trading methodology known as the Chapman Wave. The Chapman Wave up-down sequence gives you an edge in identifying price turns, finding the peaks and valleys in stock prices. Get the Opening Call newsletter by Basil Chapman in your inbox every day. First-time subscribers also get a 30-day money-back guarantee. If you're not satisfied, let us know, and you'll get a full refund within 30 days of signing up. TFNN.com, educating investors.
Are you looking for a secured investment which pays you on a monthly basis? The Tiger First Mortgage Program may be the program for you. The best rate on a 5-year CD in the country right now, according to Bankrate.com, is paying 1% per year or $1,000 per $100,000 invested. The Tiger First Mortgage Program pays 7% per year, paid monthly, on secured, high-value, buildable properties in St. Petersburg, Florida. The investment is for 4 years, paying 7% per year or $7,000 per $100,000 invested. Your investment is secured by high-value real estate in St. Petersburg, Florida. Your investment can be anywhere from $100,000 to $500,000. Do you want to make $1,000 per year on $100,000 invested or $7,000 per year on a secured Tiger First mortgage? The Tiger First Mortgage Program may be just the program for you. The Tiger First Mortgage Program pays 7% per year, paid monthly. For more information, you can call 877-518-9190. That's 877-518-9190.
Catch Tom O'Brien, professional trader and educator, founder of TFNN. Also, a special guest on CNBC. Tom will bisect and dissect the markets. The Tom O'Brien Show, next on TFNN.
As we get to wrap up another great show on the Power Trading Hour, the question comes from Jay on bought Nugget this AM. He didn't tell me at what price. I'm going to assume probably lower. Let's say that you got into this thing at $62.50 or so. Probably a good place to get in. You really to sell it, I need to have something that really it washes out overnight or something. I think you're fine. I'm just hoping to get a slightly better price, but a better risk reward tomorrow. And looking at it after the Fed comes out. So maybe I'll be all wet. I think you're fine buying it out here today. If you bought it at the lows at $62, probably fairly decent risk reward. Again, a lot of people all trying to buy it always worries me. Gold has a big history of washing people out and making their lives miserable. And I just haven't seen enough misery yet from enough people in the gold market to say that it's over. And quit talking about gold. Is that an easy way to trade? No, but you end up with some of the bigger movements in gold when that happens. And I think everybody around the den knows when we don't have phone calls to Tom over a number of days, generally maybe gold's ready to start taking a look at again. And we'll see you in the next hour. But I think, do we have I don't think so. I think we've got Basil in, but they did not say. Maybe we did. Maybe they did say, and maybe I missed it. But certainly, I'd probably sit on my hands. If it doesn't turn a profit by tomorrow morning, then I would probably just put in a stop and let it ride through the day. You can always buy back later in the day. With that, I'm just hoping for a little bit more as you get it. And again, that is on everything. I'm just being a little bit more greedy on buying lows. So when you can, not when you have to. We'll see you here tomorrow for the Super Bowl after the